Ladies and gentlemen of Georgia, the golden age of America is upon us. We are in the golden age. This is the greatest we'll ever be.
We're not even in your golden age, Donald. Our whittle baby president had one of those Mad King days yesterday, reneging on his own nuclear deal with Saudi Arabia, threatening more attacks on Iran, threatening tariffs on whatever country he could think of. Plus, we also have chaos in Congress, the DOJ withdrawing its subpoenas of New York Times journalists' phone records, and the latest on the Nolan Wells case. We have these stories and more to get into. I'm Sammy Sage, and this is the Morning Announcements, your 10-minute rundown of current events and the best way to always know what the going on. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a story and get every episode right when it comes out. The Mad King really went off yesterday. Donald Trump made a whole big thing about reaching a nuclear deal with Saudi Arabia, but then he followed up with a PS a day later on his little social media app, where he said that the whole deal is actually conditioned on Saudi Arabia signing the Abraham Accords and normalizing diplomatic relations with Israel. Donald is well aware that this is not some casual request, as the Saudis have said many times that they're not going to normalize relations with Israel unless they guarantee a path to Palestinian statehood, which Bibi Netanyahu says that he will never do as long as he is in charge. So kick him out, I guess. So not only did Donald's little tweet put the Saudi nuclear deal itself in jeopardy, even though there was no guarantee it was going to pass Congress anyway, but it also opened up a whole new can of nuclear proliferation subatomic particles in the Middle East. Just what we needed. Here's Caroline Levitt attempting to explain all of this.
Well, look, the president is always the final deal maker, as you know, and this is something that he has mentioned on numerous occasions going back. I can provide you with those statements, and he has said if they don't join the Abraham Accords, the deal is off. So we'll continue to have those conversations with our Saudi counterparts.
Nuclear proliferation aside, that is a later problem. The today problem is that Donald Trump told Axios that he's seriously considering restarting major combat operations in Iran, with even bigger strikes than those during Operation Epic Fury. The actual quote was, "I am considering a massive attack bigger than ever before. I am close to making a decision. We are all set for it. Also, Israel would, quote, join in 2 minutes if I ask them to, but we don't need anybody." We actually do need somebody, and it is someone to treat you for your mental disorder. On that note, here is Trump's doctor, Ronny Jackson, after being asked if there's anything off about his health.
What about the president's health?
Does he seem healthy to you?
Of course he's healthy. He's in great health, yeah.
Nothing about the way he's speaking or the way he's looking on camera?
Absolutely not. Yeah, he's completely articulate. He's just like he's always been. He's available to you guys on a more regular basis than any other president that we've had, and he's got an unbelievable energy level, and he just had his recent physical, and he's in great health.
He's having a lot of physicals.
Coincidentally, Donald's latest round of warmongering comments came around the same time that the House of Representatives randomly decided to pass a war powers resolution to stop Trump from continuing military strikes in Iran. 4 whole Republicans joined all the House Democrats to make it pass, though if reality were actually screwed on straight, there would be a lot more than that, because the most recent polling found that fewer than 30% of Americans support Trump's war in Iran. And even among MAGA voters, only 37% said that they would support the war if gas prices don't rise. And just like that, oil prices are back over $100 a barrel, which is what I think of as the equivalent of a 100-degree fever. It's the red flag mark. This isn't just because the U.S. is escalating the war, but because the Houthis have now entered the chat. Not the Houthi PC small group. And by that I mean they've started attacking tankers in the Red Sea. Oh wait, this just in. The Senate rejected the House's war powers resolution, in case anyone briefly got their hopes up about that. Because things weren't chaotic enough, the Trump administration announced a new round of tariffs of up to 12.5% on 60 countries, which have already gone into effect as of midnight. These are just part of Trump's latest scheme to impose tariffs where his authority to do so is a bit light. And in this case, the White House is using an expiring tariff program in order to impose new ones. These new tariffs are related to whether a country effectively enforces its ban on forced labor. Countries that have banned forced labor but aren't enforcing it will face a 10% tariff, while others who don't ban it will be tariffed at 12.5%. And he's also threatening Canada with a 50% tariff now, but all in a day's work. The Justice Department has tacoed, and it is for the best. They withdrew the subpoenas they issued to get the phone records of New York Times journalists, and their families, but only after a judge grilled them in court for an hour about how messed up that was. So the DOJ dropped that specific nonsense, but they say they're continuing their investigation into who leaked the information about how Trump's hand-me-down jet from Qatar is the Canal Street knockoff of state-owned aircrafts. We have to talk about the death of Nolan Wells, the 18-year-old boy in Mississippi who went missing on July 4th. Under extremely suspicious circumstances, and whose body was found 2 days later. Nolan traveled to a popular party spot at Horn Island on a boat with 4 friends who say they last saw him that afternoon because he left on another boat, though this is unconfirmed and there are actually some videos and photos that suggest otherwise. Anyway, when one of those friends called Nolan's mom later that night to ask if she had heard from him, she hadn't, he bizarrely neglected to mention that he had Nolan's phone and car keys. There was also an array of misdirection by one of the friend's parents, a local judge who wrote a long essay about why her son was innocent and how close he was with Nolan. Also, law enforcement immediately said that there was no foul play, way before they could have ever known that. And I also have to mention that Nolan was the only black boy on a boat with 4 white kids when he went missing in Mississippi. The results of the state-ordered autopsy haven't been released, though Nolan's parents ordered an independent autopsy. Those results came back inconclusive, partly because the state medical examiner kept parts of Nolan's body, and one might argue they were parts critical in determining whether he actually drowned, or whether that whole story was bullshit. Now Nancy Grace has clocked in on this one, so you will be hearing about it.